show on a special Monday evening show. We missed y'all yesterday, had to do a postpone for a little bit of life happening, so we had to push the show to today. So we thank y'all for joining us on this Monday evening. Again, if this is your first time listening to us, go ahead and hit that like button on the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. We appreciate it. B, how you doing, man?
Man, I was down in Palm Springs. It's hot as hell. I definitely don't want to go to hell if it's that hot down there, to say the least. It was like 110 4 or 5 days straight. We were playing softball, so that really didn't help. Come back to the Bay Area, and it ain't getting any cooler. But the funny thing is, it's like a 20 degree temperature difference between 80 degrees to 100. Like, it's still very, very hot and disgusting, and I don't like it one bit here. But other than that, man, I didn't get any heat stroke, so I'm good with that there. I'm alive.
Dude, how on earth?
Can't complain, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man, but how on earth did you play softball in 110 degree weather? What?
I'm still trying to figure that out. It was hot.
Oh man! At some point, were the
inhaling heat,
were the teams looking at each other like, you know what? Whoever blinks first wins. I mean, at that point, with that heat, we're not doing extra innings.
I'm not 100% sure. I wish we would have just done coin flips and had a water balloon competition or a water balloon fight to kind of just call it to cool each other down, man. Jeez, it was hot. Never again do I ever want to experience something like that. So thank God that tournament ended. But good to be back on the Bay Area, though, man. You know me, I don't like anything associated with Southern California. So, had to do it for once there. People did not like the tattoo, but that's their problem, not my problem.
Hey, well, you're in the desert anyway. Who cares, right? Oh man, well,
exactly.
Well, luckily B made it home safe and is he's a little red, a little burnt, but he's here, so that's what matters most.
Yeah. At least I'm medium rare. I'm not rare just yet, so I did get a little tan. I'll take the medium rare.
Well, let's jump right in. Obviously, we've had a full slate of football, with football still going as we speak. There are 2 games happening right now. The dreaded 2 Monday Night Football game schedule where you have 2 overlapping games, so you can't watch both of them. It's the stupidest thing the NFL does. I don't know. Can we talk about that for a second? What is the motivation behind having games at a 30-minute stagger? One starts at about 4:30, the other starts at 5. What is this? Why?
This is the dumbest thing the NFL needs to do to get views. Like, honestly, they probably would have gotten the same views for the Detroit-Seattle game compared to this Miami Titans game. Like, how did the Titans end up with a Monday Night Football game?
I don't know.
And with no Tua, now this game becomes very, very boring, to say the least.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how they got away with this here. I don't know why they continue with it. They're the only sport that matters. I don't think MLB playoffs are even going to compete with the NFL. Basketball hasn't started yet, even though it was media day for most of the teams around the league. But I don't see the urgency to want to do 2 Monday night games at the same time. Like, it's not even at a time where you can watch one, get a break, and watch the other. It's literally one's at 4:30 and the other one's at 5. Yeah. It doesn't make sense, man. It just doesn't.
The NFL is competing against itself at this point. That's how popular they are, guys. I mean, doesn't even make sense. Anyway.
That's how selfish money. That's what selfish money does to you. It's like, let's compete against ourselves and let's make this happen.
I guess so. Well, let's jump into the games of the week. We'll start with our teams, and I want to start off with the Raiders. Man, I got to give the Raiders some props. They found a way to get the job done, and was very surprised by the fact that Devontae Adams and Max Crosby were out in this game. I don't know why. Where are the stats? I mean, is the NFL.com abandoned this? Where are the Raiders? There they are. Although they were playing a team that, is mediocre at best in the Cleveland Browns. But they also lost to a startup Panthers team last week. So nothing, everything's on the table when it comes to the Raiders. So it was good to see them get a victory at home. I thought, again, with 2 very important players on the one offense, one defensive side, I thought they played really well, man. I really like what I saw from Trey Tucker. Thought he was a great addition. I was hoping Zamir White would kind of get his game going, but it didn't really work out that way. However, I thought Alexander Madison played a pretty darn good game, being halfback number 2. So it wasn't pretty. I don't want to fool anybody. It was not a pretty game.
That's for sure.
It was sloppy. There were not a lot of yards, not a lot of points. But Cleveland also couldn't get out of their own way. And one thing I'd like to throw out there, Beeb, and I'll get your opinion on the game too, is I think the Deshaun Watson thing is going to get long in the tooth real quick here. How many more games are you giving this guy before the Browns?
He's got it. This has got to come to an end, man. Dude, watching him throw the ball against the Raiders was pretty damn terrible.
He's not
he
good.
missed so many wide receivers that were open. He's blaming his offensive lineman for the way he plays. You're a mobile quarterback, so you should be able to get out of situations when the pocket collapses. Look at a lot of Jesus, this heat really got to me. Look at a lot of the mobile quarterbacks. Look at all the mobile quarterbacks nowadays here. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. I'll even throw Josh Allen into that conversation as well. There's a lot of guys there who can get out of the pocket. For some reason, Deshaun Watson just loves to hang out in the pocket and then just get mollywopped back there. This experiment needs to end now. Your season is almost on the verge of just not existing anymore, so you might as well bring in Jameis Winston and see what you can get from him in regards to that there. Because right now, you're not getting anything out of Deshaun Watson. It is very, very bad as far as production goes from them. On the other hand, the Raiders, look, wins aren't going to be pretty in the NFL. You're going to have some ugly wins. This was an ugly win, but you needed a win after last week's shellacking you received from the Carolina Panthers, who proceeded to get beat by this past week to the Bengals. So, look, a win is a win. It gets you in the right track once again. Keeps you at 500, so you're not under 500 during this time. You find a way to kind of reel off some wins here. So a little bit of momentum boost from the Raiders here, but they got a lot to work on, man. Their offense is just still too slow.
It's terrible.
And the Browns defense was terrible against the New York Giants a week ago, and this is a far better offense that the Raiders are carrying than the New York Giants did. And they just, again, these are the kind of starts you cannot have against bad teams in general.
Yeah, man, I really thought Brock Bowers was going to be a bigger part of the offense with Devontae Adams missing, but that didn't turn out to be the case. He only caught the ball twice for 19 yards. Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker. But I think Trey Tucker was the real breakout. He did some good things with the ball in his hand. Used his speed to get open. Had one play where it would have been a touchdown if he wasn't overthrown by Gardner Minshew, the Gardner gnome. Gardner Minshew. So it's their offense has a long ways to go. I still feel like this team, I got to go back and look, but this is a team that probably, they're going to spend a lot of the season 21 points or less. You know what I mean? Like that's where they are right now as an offense. And if they can't find a way to get this thing going, Devontae Adams obviously was out this game. But if they can't get the offense going, it's going to be tough sledding all year, and they are going to be a 500 ball club at best. So I'm hoping they're. Oh, by the way, cousin of Troy Polamalu started in this game. Looked pretty good out there at safety. Thought that was interesting. Guy was out there making plays, so kudos to him. And the Polamalu bloodline continues. But yeah, man. So I don't know.
I know. Is it weird? Is it weird that he's in a Raider uniform?
Yeah, it is. You think about the Steelers Raiders. That's a long standing rivalry. But I was happy to see it because they needed it with Epps out. They needed somebody to come in and play at that safety position. But it's a whole hum victory. I'm glad they won 2-2. Hopefully they could build on it, but the offense is just so bad. I hope they figure out. At some point, we got to get Aiden O'Connell out there just to give it a boost, because if they continue to play like this, where they can barely get 300 yards total yards, 300 total yards, then it's not going to go well.
Not going to look too well for them as well here. So this is kind of the first test for Pierce here, as a new head coach on what you do. These are the tough decisions you need to make. Do you bench your starting quarterback to bring in a guy that you kind of rode the ship with for what 6-7 games last year?
Yeah.
Or you continue down this trend where if you're not getting good quarterback play, your job could be on the line because you're not willing to make any adjustments here. Their next home game or their next game is going to be against the Denver Broncos. 2-game winning streak, back-to-back trips to the East Coast, found ugly wins and ugly ways here. What is your quick takeaway in this matchup here?
Well, they're not going to be able to sleep on them, that's for sure. And they're not going to be. They might not be able to bank on the fact that they're a team that's just going to make mistakes, and that'll give them the opportunity. They're definitely going to need Crosby back because they got to continue putting a rush on the quarterback. But you're playing a young quarterback that could pop, or he could not. He could not play well at all. So the Raiders aren't going to have, Deshaun Watson back there. You're not going to be able to anticipate exactly what Bo Nix is going to play like, or how well he's going to play in this game. So there'll be a little bit less room for error. I still look for the Raiders to come away with the win. I think their defense is legit, but their offense has to do something. The offense has to do something. They got to score some points. They got to get some big plays. They got to show me something. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Who would have thought in week 5 you still be repeating yourself about the Raiders offense needing to get going and getting going quick? There's a legitimate issue now.
Yeah, their offense is bad. That's the issue. They have They don't have a starting running back. They pretend they do, but Zamir Wright, he's only been in the league. Was this his second year? Then you've got Devontae Adams, but then you don't have a quarterback who can consistently throw him the ball. So, and you got weapons. You've got him. Jacoby Myers is not a bad slot receiver or a number 2. You've got Brock Bowers, who's a up-and-coming talented rookie. There's some things that they have to work with. It's just a matter of, can they create a game plan for Gardner Minshew that works? And so far, it's been kind of ho-hum.
Yep, absolutely here. Can we talk about my team? Because damn, they look good on Sunday Night Football, bro.
Oh, my goodness.
They look good.
That was a beatdown.
You can't even be mad about that. My Ravens, woo! They're getting their act together here. Back-to-back games, getting Derrick Henry motivated, getting him running and stumbling here. First play of their first possession, 86-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even close. You know how funny it was watching 3 Bills players trying to chase down that behemoth during the run here?
Couldn't catch
him. He hit 21 miles an hour on that run, right behind Worthy from the Chiefs, who's a rookie, and he reached the top speed just as fast as he did. So, breath of fresh air to see here. Lamar Jackson threw the ball great. Really can't be mad. You know how I feel when he starts slinging the ball and doesn't have any effort or any care for where he throws it. So it was nice to see him be a little more consistent there. But man, the defense was making Josh Allen so uncomfortable.
Yep.
They were getting to him often and early, putting him on his back, letting him know that they were going to be there all night, and they were. Made it very uncomfortable. Exposed the Bills to who we thought they were supposed to be, with no weapons, and it showed.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing here is you're playing against an AFC rival. This is the game you absolutely had to win. I think the Ravens had that motivation because 1-3 is a whole lot different than 2-2. So at 2-2, the Buffalo Bills, who I think they're behind the Kansas City Chiefs record wise. That's another team that somehow is winning games. I have no idea how the Chiefs are winning games week to week. But getting back to the Buffalo Bills. They were 3-0 coming into this game. The Ravens looked, had a couple of, game that wasn't that great. And now you can see that they've kind of gotten off the schneid a little bit. They've done it by running the ball, which is what the Ravens have been notorious for doing ever since their inception, really. That's what the Ravens have been known to do, especially under Harbaugh, is to run the ball. And they did a lot of that with Derrick Henry, which made a lot of sense. Really took the weight off of Lamar Jackson. He didn't have to do a ton. He just needed to make the correct play, the correct pass, and he definitely did that. When Derrick Henry's 200 yards rushing, I don't think you need to do anything if you're Lamar Jackson. You
Yeah,
just sit back,
exactly
hand
here.
the ball off, and get some popcorn and watch the show like the rest of us. So yeah, kudos to the Ravens, man, and yeah, like you said, Buffalo Bills. They didn't have some weapons. They looked really good though, but they came in and faced a team that was just better. And we'll see if the Buffalo Bills can recover from that. And who the Ravens got next, man?
They are, man. I just had the schedule up too here.
Let's see. Let's see if
I
I
think
can
they got the
find it.
Bengals next. I think they have the Bengals next, if I remember correctly. Hold on.
The
Hold
Bengals.
on.
Let's see.
Yep.
Yep.
October 6th against the Bengals in Cincinnati here. So this is a great way to get this in division win here for your first one of the season here. So this would be a big game for them to definitely kind of send a message here. Gotta hope the Steelers do lose another game. Steelers, they come back to earth here. So they do have a chance to get back into the race for first place in the North here. It is going to be a very difficult decision still. I think the Browns are just playing themselves out of this division with the way their quarterback is playing. So if they could get this win here, get to 3-2, and hopefully the Steelers find a way to lose, good momentum going into there. But man, their next two games are going to be tough outs, and I believe I'm going to say this, but the Washington Commanders going to be a tough game for the
Yeah,
Ravens.
yeah. Well, Jane has been playing very good. Jane Daniels. He has been. That was a good day. That was a good game. I mean, for him. I mean, they were slinging that thing all over the place. Yeah, man, and good thing you guys
Oh
are playing
God,
the Bengals
sure
because
was.
at this point, Joe Burrow is pretty much a shell of himself, and that team is not defensively ready to do anything. So that might be another game where you're handing the ball off and watching. So
Yeah.
we shall see. Let's see. Now let's move on to the Bay team. For the 49ers, go into the well, they don't go into. Excuse me. They played against the New England Patriots, who showed some promise. The 49ers obviously are dealing with they are just injury after injury after injury. Last week, of course, they were missing Debo Samuel. They've been without Christian McCaffrey for a
And
while,
everybody.
and George Kittle also out. This week they got a couple of those guys back in. I think Debo Samuel and George Kittle, and
Yeah.
Brock Purdy got the job done, man. That defense and Brock Purdy got the job done. It wasn't much of a game to watch, to be honest with you. They beat the brakes off this team. They were up pretty early
Yeah.
and they finished the job, and that was it was the open and shut case.
I honestly think the Patriots just played themselves out of that game because they had plenty of opportunities to score points. They were in the Niners at red zone quite a bit in the first quarter here and failed to convert on anything. Bad turnovers here. The Niners didn't get off to a hot start either until late second, and then
Yeah, late
obviously the
second.
pick
Yeah.
six by Fred Warner
Yep.
really kind of got them going there. So the Patriots had a chance, especially had a chance to cover a 10-point spread. I don't know how you don't cover that in the NFL nowadays. But yeah, this was a get right game for the 49ers here. They were able to get this victory with ease, especially after coming off of back-to-back losses. So this was a big win for the 49ers, but man, did they just receive some bad news today. Christian McCaffrey has tendonitis in both legs. So it's not just one, it is now both. And this may sideline him for an extended period of time, although he was scheduled to return, I think, December, maybe end of November. You
Yeah.
may not get him for the entire regular season now.
Yeah.
This is how crucial this injury is here for him. So they're gonna rely on Mason. It's Mason, right? The
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
back?
Yeah.
Uh Jordan
Yes.
Mason?
Yeah. Jordan
They're
Mason
gonna rely on him heavily now.
played very
Yeah,
well.
he's gonna
Yeah.
be he's gonna get a lot more playing time. So the more he gets, the more he's gonna get comfortable with this offense here. So it's a good thing that they have him here. But man, that injury bug again. You're playing long NFL seasons. Look at it from our NBA teams in perspective. When the Warriors were making their runs, injuries caught up to them real quick here.
Yeah.
When the Lakers were making deep runs, injuries catch up to you, and can flatten the season real quick here. So the Niners are trying to have to find a way to maybe you may start anticipating a season without Christian McCaffrey because of this injury here.
Yeah.
It's in both legs now. So you may want to start planning for a season without him here. I don't think you make any drastic moves to the offense with Mason here, but you still need Brandon Ayuk to step up. Yet again, another game where he could have gone off and didn't go off. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
that's the one thing I was
What
going to
is
point
it?
out, man. Is if you look at the top of the receptions and yards, we've got, we got Jawan Jennings again, 3 receptions, 88 yards, and then Brendan Ayuk with two receptions for 48 yards. So I think it's getting to the point where they're asking for more from him. They paid him, and like I talked about in the last time, we're gonna get to the end of the year and really see what the numbers bear out. But it's starting to look like maybe he got overpaid.
Oh, dude, he got overpaid the minute. Oh, you all right there, brother?
I'm good.
Was that a sneeze? Bless you.
Yeah, got a little
Bless you.
sneeze
Was that a
there.
sneeze?
A little sneeze there.
Gotcha. I don't think he was worth the 30 million here, and he's gonna, like I said, we're gonna keep scrutinizing him until he has a consistent amount of games of over 100 yards and at least 1 or 2 touchdowns. When you look at the top 5 wide receivers in this league, they're all hitting that mark. Justin Jefferson is setting the bar tremendously high, and he has Sam Darnold throwing at him.
Yeah.
It ain't Brock Purdy, it is Sam Darnold to
Yeah.
say the least here.
Right.
And he's making the most of it. Um,
Absolutely.
it's a good and bad thing when you have all of these weapons here. But for God's sakes, these weapons weren't available for the last 2 games, and you were still a no-show for all of this here. So this is going to be a continuous trend until Brandon Ayuk decides he wants to show up. He wants to have a big game. Did you see earlier in the week he threw a temper tantrum because he walked out with the wrong shorts on? Everyone was wearing black shorts, and here comes Mr. $30 million wearing red shorts. And Kyle Shanahan said, dude, go change. You're not wearing red shorts. Like, I'm not going to look too much into it, but this is the kind of stuff you cannot be doing at $30 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, you look to a guy to be the leader on your team, but the bottom line is that's not what this is. He, as we mentioned before, was probably the third option on this team. And even with McCaffrey out, even with Debo Samuel out, he kind of still stayed that third option. If we look, like I said, we look at the yards, we've got Jennings, then Debo, then him. And George Kittle was right behind him. George Kittle actually had more targets and a touchdown. So, yeah, man, I don't know. We're waiting on, but it looks a lot like the guy can't get open. So, look, we'll wait to see how the season bears out. But this guy, he might be a bad deal overall if they don't start getting some production out of him.
Yep, and they're gonna get into a pretty tough stretch of games here. They got the next. I mean, the Cardinals. We thought they were gonna be good, and then Lord knows they became the Arizona Cardinals.
I said, never mind.
Then they're gonna get a short week against the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are playing some good football. They're not doing too good right now. They're only down 14 to the Detroit Lions, and then you get the Super Bowl rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs coming into town. That's a big game because the Niners still can't find a way to beat them. So this is a stepping stone for them here. Not yet again, the rest of the league still hasn't figured out how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But those are during the regular season. The Niners have lost 2 Super Bowls to the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is a big game for them. And that's going to be the kind of game you expect Brandon Ayuk to have 150 yards and 2 touchdowns and making an impact on that game. That's going to be the game that he needs to make sure that he reminds everyone why he got $30 million.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So as far as other games around the league, just some notables. Had a very close game between New Orleans and Atlanta that really went down to a last-second kick. So that was actually a fun game to catch.
Yeah, man, you had the Saints +3, and they covered that for you, bro.
Thank you.
They covered that for you.
I'm glad because they found a way to lose that game for real. They really found a way to lose.
They sure did.
What's another game I also watched was, and we talked about this a little earlier. The Kansas City Chiefs are 4-0. Okay, but if you watch the games, you wonder why. And the only thing is that defense is legit. Patrick Mahomes has not been playing very well at all. This has been a pretty sad season thus far for Pat. I mean, he hasn't been doing anything special. Rishi Rice goes down and probably is going to be out for the rest of the entire season. And lo and behold, just to show you how crazy this team's winning, But to show you how crazy this all is, Kareem Hunt comes back to Kansas City.
Yeah.
and leads the team in rushing. It's like, what? So, this team is spiraling, trying to figure out ways to get their offense going, but they've seemingly done just enough to win games. I guess the league has to be on guard a little bit with the fact that Pat hasn't played very well. Their offense hasn't played very well. Will their offense get better than what it is now? Or will they be a lot like what they were like at the end of last season, where honestly they didn't have much. Their offense was here and there, and mainly Patrick Mahomes making third, fourth down plays to keep them alive.
I am going to put this out here, and you're probably not going to like what I'm about to say, but this is a possibility. Rashee Rice is down, right? They need a number one wide receiver.
They do.
There's a receiver in your division who may not last too long with this team, and that is going to be Davante Adams.
No.
We can say no all we want, but don't be shocked if it happens. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
The good teams find good ways to win ugly games. They find the best ways to win when nobody's available.
Yeah.
What you're seeing is this dynasty, and these Kansas City Chiefs are a dynasty on trying to find ways to win, to keep this momentum going here. So if that means that you're going to get rid of some talent to bring in a Davante Adams-like wide receiver or go get him, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They want that three-peat so bad. They're going to find a way to make it happen here. Rashee Rice isn't coming back for the rest of the year. It's probably a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Did you see the way that leg bent? It was disgusting.
Yeah, man. Dude.
That thing was gross. And so, look, he's going to be down for the rest of the year. We all know how Kansas City receivers are. They are Butterfinger Central. So why not go get yourself a wide receiver that you can count on here? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Davante Adams, as much as he loves being with the Raiders here, he needs a Super Bowl. Every player is playing for a Super Bowl. If you can sit there and tell yourself you're going to win one with the Raiders, maybe you don't go anywhere. But time's ticking against Davante Adams. He needs that ring. Go get yourself one. And if that means you need to go to your division rival, go to your division rival.
Oh man, I certainly hope not, man. That'd be crazy. You trade your best player to your a division rival. That'd be stupid. I doubt that happens. Maybe there is another player out there that plays on a crappy team that needs an out, like who is it? Hopkins with the Titans, or somebody of that ilk. Who just is playing, who has talent, but is on a team that just really isn't going anywhere. Maybe something along those lines. But we'll see, man. We'll see. As you know, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to pull some type of rabbit out the hat. Believe me, I had no idea. I did not think Kareem Hunt would come back and be a productive, Kansas City running back at this stage. It took 6 years, but they got him back. So, It'll be interesting. You really need to, it's a shame that none of these AFC teams can find a way to beat Kansas City, because, to be quite honest with you, with the Chargers and the Raiders are 2-2. The Broncos have a losing record. At this point, the Chiefs are going to win the division without even trying. It's just,
but your whole division is 2-2.
That's
Outside
what
the
I'm
Chiefs,
saying.
everybody's 2-2.
It's just. Yeah, right, exactly. So it's like these guys win one more game and they're in the playoffs. I mean, they go 5-0. They're pretty much a shoe-in at that point. I mean, because maybe the Raiders win, maybe they don't, maybe the Chargers. Look, 2 of those 3 teams are going to lose. 2 of them are going to be 2-3, and then you got a 5-0 team sitting there. This division is they're going to have it wrapped up by Christmas. Well, maybe before then, by Thanksgiving. Wow. They'll have it wrapped up by Thanksgiving. They'll have it wrapped up by Thanksgiving. So, AFC, please, can you guys beat this team? I mean, they look beatable. Their defense is good. Their offense has not played well. Pat's been throwing some weird interceptions lately. Get out there and beat Kansas City. Seriously.
Let's talk about another game here that I found very interesting because of a certain motion that was made from a backup quarterback who's now ready to come in. That was the Steelers and the Colts. The Steelers didn't play a great game.
No, they did not.
And Justin Fields really didn't have a really good game either. And I think you saw
he did
Russell
all right.
Wilson really chomping at the bit. I mean, it wasn't as great. It wasn't his,
right.
first 3-0 games, but there Russell Wilson was speaking with some of the ownership on the sidelines, and it didn't look like a very pleasant conversation as far as that went, to say the least. Look, your team is in a position where do you make a change? Obviously, the Steelers are 3-1 right now, so the record isn't bad. But are you willing to afford another loss, especially with the way the Ravens are playing, to get caught up, or is it time to say, hey, let's switch it up and let's bring in Russell Wilson here? What do you think about that situation with Pittsburgh?
Let me tell you something. The story of this game, as far as backup quarterbacks go, is not Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. It is Joe freaking Flacco, who led the Broncos.
Yes.
Who led the Browns. Led the Browns to a playoff last year. Comes in for Anthony Richardson and dominates. 16 for 26, 168, 2 touchdowns. I mean, how is this guy not on a roster right now? How is it? I mean, I as a Raider fan, sign me up. Go get Joe Flacco. I don't care if he gets sacked a few times a game. It's gonna happen anyway. I don't care. But this guy has found a way to be productive again on a team. And mind you, this is a big game for the Colts. I mean, they're 1-2 coming into this thing. They could very well go down to be 1-3 against a team that's 3-0 and has been playing pretty well. And my man Joe Flacco gets the job done. So that's what the story is about. Russell Wilson, we've seen him play. What's he gonna do? I mean, just take the money and shut up, Russell. You know what I mean? $200 million. Hey, look, I'm sorry that Pittsburgh lied to you, because they did. They was like, yeah, come on, Russell, you're going to be the guy. And then they were like, we're going to trade for Justin Fields. Wait, what? So they definitely pulled the rug from under him. I can appreciate that. But, hey, man, you got the $200 million pay, go have some more babies with Ciara or something to bide the time until you find another contract somewhere else.
Yeah, and Joe Flacco kind of saved the Colts season here. They're still a game behind the Texans. They played the Texans tough the first game in the season here. Mm-hmm. So having Joe Flacco kind of ride that ship really helps him out big time here. He would be kind of good in New York.
Yeah,
with the Giants.
Is Joe
Flacco? He would be a pretty good.
I mean, I don't want to go too far with this, but is Joe Flacco like the new Nick Foles or something? I mean, he's not going to win the Super Bowl. But you know what I mean? Like, this guy, coming in as a backup and just getting the job done. I mean, you got to give the guy some props.
JJ jumping in here. Welcome, JJ. Good to see you back here. Hope you enjoyed Laker Media Day with Bronny James and LeBron James talking about practice. That was a waste of an interview, but that's just my feelings. He goes, hi from the land of the winless teams here, and he's referring to his fantasy team, which is just like Taj and I, very bad.
Yeah,
to say the
least.
I
got one win.
I can't speak that my team's any better because I've only got one win, and then I started Tank Dell, who didn't even play on Sunday. That shows you how much attention that I was paying to my fantasy team here. So, welcome to the land of losing here. This is a tight core from it
Stick
here.
Together.
Kind of weird going from an undefeated season to now having too many damn losses already. So now I just got to find a way to stay out of last place, because Lord knows the punishment that I would receive for finishing in last place will not be pretty. So I just got to make sure I'm not with the rest of us here. At some point, one of us has to come out of the
We're going to have to fight.
Yeah, we're going to have to do, what's that movie? The Dark Knight, when the Joker breaks all the pool sticks and makes us all fight for our lives.
That's
here.
right.
This is basically what we're doing for fantasy football. One of us needs to stay out of it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be me.
You're absolutely right, man. I don't even want to talk about it. That's how bad it is. You know what I mean? It's just terrible. I completely have given up. I'm just going to watch football games and have fun. Oh, Seattle scored. All right.
I did. Well, nope. Detroit just came back.
Oh, Detroit just scored.
Right back down their
okay.
throat.
All right. Never mind.
Never mind.
All right. Okay.
Hey, let's before we get into our picks here. I know we haven't really done this, but let's go top 5 teams in the NFL going into today. If you looked at the 5 best teams in the NFC and AFC, where would you rank the teams here?
All right, well, let me look at the standings. So I got to see exactly who's on the top to give me an idea. I know that of course the Chiefs are undefeated.
Let's me and you can both agree the Chiefs are number 1.
Yeah, so
we're just gonna,
there's only one undefeated team left in the AFC. Let me check the NFC. The Seahawks are not going to be undefeated. The Vikings are the other team. So let's start in the AFC. My teams are going to be the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Texans. We need 5. Chiefs, Ravens.
Top 5 in each conference.
Yeah. So Chiefs, then the Ravens, then the Texans. And then the 4th team I'm throwing there is the Bills. And to round it out, I'm going to go with the Steelers. And there you go. Those are your top 5 teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs. I like the Ravens there with it as well. I would put the Bills ahead of the Texans. Just because of the fact that I think the Bills have done more with less. With Josh Allen, obviously the game on Sunday night really didn't help his cause. But there was more pressure on the Texans this year, than there was the Buffalo Bills. And for the Texans to some of the losses, the one loss they had obviously was to the Vikings here, but it was a pretty damn bad loss in that case there. And honestly, they play in a division that it looks like it's just dog crap. The Titans, the Jags, both winless here. You have the Colts we don't know how long they're going to be without Anthony Richardson here, so you're going to rely on good old Joe Flacco.
Hey, watch out.
I know. So I've got the Chiefs, I got the Ravens, I got the Bills. I will put the Steelers at number 4 here just because, they got off to a good start here. And then my 5th team, you're not going to like this, but this may be the quiet team that no one will talk about. The Denver Broncos.
Oh, my God, no.
Yep, I'm going with that there. I'm high on Bo Nix.
Are you serious right now?
I'm high on him.
Are you serious?
I'm very high on Bo Nix right now. I'm going to say the Broncos are going to be the 5th best team in this right now. Because when you look at everyone else.
Are you crazy?
I must be. I sat in the sun for over 100 degrees. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is when you look at the teams with 2 losses or more here, the Colts gonna be without their guy. The Browns suck. The Bengals, it took them to beat the Panthers to get a win here. The Raiders, they're just too slow of an offense. The Chargers, inconsistent. They're still learning a lot from him. Dolphins don't have a quarterback. The Patriots really showed why they suck. So I'm throwing the Broncos in there as the 5th best team in the AFC.
All right.
It's just a placeholder for
All right, here's the problem. The problem is the division that they play in. They play in a division where everybody is 2-2 except for the one undefeated team in the entire AFC. The Broncos are going to have to play each one of these teams twice. They're not going to come out of that and be in a wild card situation. Hey, I'm sorry.
I'm just
They're
saying.
Not.
That's my top 5. I don't see anybody else that's better than the Broncos right now.
I hear what you're saying. It's just that they play in a division where they have to play the Chargers twice. They got to play the Raiders twice. They got to play the Chiefs twice. They're not going to beat all of those teams. They're just not.
I'm sorry. The Raiders lost to the Panthers, and until they play better football, I will hold that over your team.
The Broncos are not better. The Broncos are not any better than the Raiders. The Broncos are not any better than the Chargers. They aren't. They aren't.
The Broncos just went on the East Coast and won 2 games that they weren't supposed to win. I'm taking them just for the time being.
They gotta beat the teams in their division. They could beat as many teams on the East Coast as you can hand them. If they can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers, they will not be in the playoffs. That's it.
Okay.
That's always the issue.
You heard this here, folks. You heard this here first. I am taking the Broncos as a top 5 team.
Oh my!
I don't care what none of y'all say. That's my opinion. Damn it.
Here we go. All right. Well,
let's move over to the NFC.
All
let's
right.
move over to the NFC here. Top 5 teams in the NFC. I'll let you start that one off.
All right. Top 5 teams in the NFC. I'm gonna go. My number 1 right now is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. They've been surprisingly good. And then I'm going to round it out with the team I think that obviously should be number 1 if they can get healthy, and that's going to be the 49ers. Even though they're 2-2 right now, they have a great defense. If they get guys healthy, they'll be right there when we get midway through the season. And then after that, I'm going to drop in. Wait, how many teams was that? Jeez, that was 3, right?
That's 3. You got 3.
All right. So my next 2 are going to be the Detroit Lions, and my final team will be the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders will be that 5th team. They will make the playoffs. They will dominate a really suspicious... I mean, the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants are... What is happening? I mean, the Giants are terrible. The Eagles, I don't know what they did. What did the Eagles... The Eagles woke up, went to play the Bucs, and decided to stay at home... in their minds and hearts.
Did you see how long it took them to even get a total yard in the first half?
Dude,
they were still at 0 for like the longest time.
Jalen Hurts was like at a negative for a while. I mean, this team is terrible, and I don't know, man. They're bad. I don't know what happened to the Eagles. They suck. I think the Commanders will slide in there. They will definitely be in the playoffs. I got them as number 5 because they're still young, and I don't know where this is gonna go.
Well, here we go. I'm gonna make this very uncomfortable here.
There we go.
I'm the Vikings number 1 in the NFC, obviously for good reasons here.
All right.
They are just playing some really good damn football. If you haven't watched it, just watch what they're doing. It is very impressive here. Number 2, I'm going with the Washington Commanders.
Oh,
this
2.
young team.
Okay.
This young team has won 2 road games that they were not supposed to win, and they've done it in convincing fashion. They went to Cincinnati on Monday night and had a Jaden Daniels breakout game. And he took that with him to Arizona and proceeded to just throw the football all over Arizona's defense here. All right. This is a team that I said before the season started that this was going to be the dark horse of the NFC East here because of Jaden Daniels and how good he is. The team they surrounded him with isn't that bad either. And it's showing here. Whether that carries on, it carries on, but I like what Jaden Daniels has done, and I like the shot in the arm that it's given him. Kingsbury, who was the old coach for the Arizona Cardinals, sees the exact same thing that he had with Kyler Murray in Jaden Daniels, but I think Jaden Daniels is a little bit of a better quarterback than Kyler Murray.
Definitely bigger.
So that's definitely a lot bigger, a lot taller as well here. So that's my number 2 team. Number 3, I am going to put the 49ers in number 3 here. The team hasn't really shown to be the top dog in the NFC here. The defense is still where it's at, but man, that offense, the loss to the Rams was just such a bad loss. The loss to the Vikings at that time seemed pretty bad, but now that loss looks pretty good because that's a really good football team over there. So I'm going to slide the Niners into number 3. My 4th team that I'm going to put in here, I'm going to put the Detroit Lions in there as number 4 here. They haven't really looked impressive to start this season here. And then number 5, I just don't trust them enough to put them in the top 3, but that's going to be the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are going to be the 5th team in the NFC at this time. A really bad loss to begin that they took here. I think who was it to? Trying to remember who they just lost to here. The Broncos.
Yeah, that was stupid.
The Broncos went in there and smacked the crap out of them, and that's why the Broncos are the 5th best team in my mind here. But as I digress from the AFC here, there needs to be more consistency. You can't lose a game like that if the Broncos are supposed to be a bad team. You don't allow them to walk into your house and only score 7 points on them here for that. So they'll sit at number 5 for me for now, but that could change as the season goes on. But I like this little power ranking. I like that for both divisions here. It's good.
Yeah, man. I think you got some good picks. The Commanders, I see where you're coming from. I mean, especially given the fact that the rest of their division is kind of up and down, really, not really showing much. And the Commanders are playing a Commander schedule. I mean, you look at it, they've got the Browns, then they play the Ravens. Okay, that's a tough game, but then they got the Panthers, the Bears, and the Giants. I mean, so they've got an opportunity to really rack up some wins in these next 4 to 5 games before they take on good talent in between. And then, of course, they got to beat the Eagles and the Cowboys because they're in their division. Yep. So if they could do that, they can easily rack up enough wins to make the playoffs and maybe even win their division, depending upon how crappy the Eagles and Cowboys play. Micah Parsons obviously, had the injury in the last game.
Got hurt.
So we don't know what that's going to look like. And Dak, ever since he signed that contract, has had the Brendan Ayuk disease. And has had some pretty poor starts.
Seems to be wearing out for those two idiots, to say the least. Here,
yeah, they've been looking
dumbasses.
Very, very average. I will say that. So, yeah, man.
Hey, all I'm saying is Nick Sirianni may find him without a job halfway through the season. If this does not get any better, if they find themselves under 500. The Eagles are going to be looking for a head coach, a la Bill Belichick.
I believe it. Oh God,
to coach the Eagles there. Can you imagine that?
Oh my God, not Bill. I think Bill's retired. I think Bill's really retired, man. I think it's over.
I don't think so. I think he finds his way coaching.
He's already doing the FanDuel commercials or whatever that site was. He's chilling.
That's kind of disgusting. Let's go to our picks here. You entered. Let me see here. You entered the week at 7-5. I was a whopping 5-5-2 here. You still have one game pending. You have Miami -2.5. They don't look like. I'm sorry, T. They ain't covering this. We're just gonna chalk up this L for you right now.
Yeah, I'm 8-8, baby. 8-8, baby.
8-8 here. You had the Panthers +5. Decide to lose to the Bengals. You had the Rams +3, made the Bears look like gods. And then you had the Saints, who only lost by 2 off of the field goal. Saints were +3, so you at least got that one there.
It's terrible, man. Absolutely terrible.
Oh man, I had the Broncos +8 went into a very wet game in New York, and damn, Aaron Rodgers is probably gonna retire after this year.
He got hit. Your boy was getting whapped.
Broncos were +8. They definitely covered by winning. I had the Vikings +3, which is the most disrespectful spread against the Green Bay Packers. Took that one. All the Patriots had to do was just score at least a couple of touchdowns in garbage time, and they couldn't even do that. Lost by 13 to the San Francisco 49ers. And then the Steelers, I mean, they tried to make a comeback here, but they let good old Joe Flacco go in there and absolutely torch him. -2.5, they lost that. So I finished with a record of 7-7-2. So creeping up on you there, sir. But damn, if you guys are going to Vegas or going to these sports betting sites with our picks, I highly advise to
don't do it.
Like right about
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
By the way, Seattle's back in the game. They for some reason went for 2, didn't work out, so it's 20-28. Don't ask me what that was about.
And speaking of Seattle, David Becerra goes, the 3-0 Seahawks are currently playing like the pretenders that they are. I don't think they're pretenders. I think this is a legitimate team from the Seahawks here.
Well, I think what's scary is they're down 8 in the third quarter. So this game is not over.
They were down 14.
Yeah, I mean, if they find a way to get back in this game and they score a touchdown to get a 2-point conversion, this thing's tied. So I don't know yet. I don't know yet. We gotta wait and see a little bit.
Do I think about trading Tyreek Hill in fantasy with what I'm seeing here from Miami?
Dude, I if somebody wants to trade with you, I mean, probably. I'm gonna have to look into it because I don't know if I can ride this ship any longer here. That Tyreek Hill is he just doesn't have a quarterback who's gonna throw him the damn ball here. Tyreek Hill goes back to Kansas City. Is that what you said?
Oh, that could be a possibility. He loves Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. That could be a possibility.
They give him a call on telephone. Hey, man, your quarterback's not coming
Um,
back.
we Why
Join
don't
a
you come back
winner.
home?
Yeah, join a
We
winner.
miss ya.
Join a winner, buddy.
We've got some sad news to report in
Yeah.
baseball. One good news to report in that. And I'll get to it in just
Well,
a sec, but the
baseball
Oakland
and
A's-
basketball. Sad news, baseball.
Baseball, yes, you're right. You're right. Side news in basketball as well. Let's start with the local team here. The Oakland A's have played their final game in Oakland on Thursday. Very emotional to watch here. I'm not even an A's fan, but watching 60 years or 57 years of baseball just get up and go like that is pretty sad. For those who don't know what the context is of how much it means out here to the Bay Area, just imagine your sports team being bought by an owner who doesn't care about them. Just get up and leave. And all the history that's left behind it is now gone. You know, they had 3 sports teams. Now, granted, one of them is still in San Francisco, but they called Oakland home. You have the Raiders who are now in Las Vegas. You have the A's who are going to play in a minor league stadium for the next 2 years and then go to Vegas. That's how bad John Fisher didn't want the A's around anymore. He didn't even want to renew the contract to at least let him play in Oakland until Vegas.
Or at least until the stadium was built.
Yeah, that's embarrassing right there. And you take that away from generations. You're talking 50 years of baseball that was played in Oakland, getting ripped away from them, man. It was terrible to see. I feel for all the fans. I'm a Giants fan at 100%. But man, it's sad, man. You're gonna drive on 80, and you're gonna drive by Oracle. You're gonna drive by the Coliseum. And it's a ghost town now. There's no basketball. There's no football. There's no more baseball. There's no more Oakland for any major sport.
Yeah, we're having this weird thing going on with our economy and the world at large where, even in parts of San Francisco where it's just the commerce and things are just sort of falling apart a little bit. And with Oakland, it's been back and forth battles beginning with Al Davis in the city of Oakland to try to get a new stadium built that never really, turned into anything. It was talks between the Oakland A's and the city of Oakland to build a new stadium on the water in Oakland, at the Howard Terminal. Again, never really turned into anything. And it's really just the city of Oakland and its leadership, I don't think really took sports serious or really considered it, the important piece of the economy that it can be in a city. And so for that reason, all of the sports have left Oakland. So like B mentioned, you'll just see a skeleton of what was as far as history goes for the Oakland A's. And if you want to look at the history of the Oakland A's, you're going to have to take a plane ride to Vegas. They'll have a nice little museum set up for you. You can look at old photos of Catfish Hunter and Reggie Jackson and all these other big time players that played in A's uniforms. Dennis Eckersley and those guys. You can go look at that in a museum in Las Vegas now. It just goes to show that there's no investment in the history or the care of the city of Oakland. It's very unfortunate, but hey, man, it is what it is. And those teams and owners have to find ways to make money. They're for-profit industries, and the city of Oakland is not interested in making money. I don't think so. We'll see.
I think the worst part to all that too is I know we make fun of the Coliseum being an absolute dump, which it is.
Yeah.
But that's Oakland Stadium though. Like the same thing was said for Candlestick Park.
Yeah.
The thing was disgusting. It was outdated, but there was history in there. The dynasty, the players that walked through there. That's what makes the stadium. That's what keeps people coming back there. Now you could give it a little bit of a dress up here, but they chose not to do that as well.
Yeah.
And now you're just letting you're treating it like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Was it a dump? Yes, it was terrible. It's one of the oldest stadiums that still has troughs for guys to piss in. Not even stalls. They're just
Yeah,
trunks.
you just have the
You know what I'm
long.
saying?
Yeah, I was
You,
there.
you know, you
I was there
you
last
gotta look
year.
up into the ceiling, or you gotta just you try not to make eye contact with the guy next to you because you're
Yep.
standing at a trot, to take a piss. But those that's the history behind everything there. Those bathrooms have been in there since the 50s,
Yeah.
since the A's were playing there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed about that there. So it's just killer to see generations, to see the young fans. The outpouring, the crying, it's valid, man.
Yeah.
Oakland fans have nothing to go watch now. There's nothing. I'm not driving to Sacramento to watch the A's and the Giants. There's no way that's happening.
Yeah. And what we're also not mentioning is all the folks that work in concessions and work for the
Yeah, that
Coliseum.
too.
They no longer have jobs. You know what I mean? They're not going to be able to work for the Coliseum or for the A's anymore because there will be no games. Just same thing with
Nope.
Oracle, where they have some events there now and again, but not very often anymore. So a lot of folks are going to be out there job hunting, trying to find ways to feed their families. And again, I think it's just an oversight by the city who somehow found something else more important. I don't know what, because it ain't like the education system. I went to Oakland Public Schools. They're not any better now than they were then. Teachers still don't get paid. You have a lot of issues with concentrations of crime in specific areas, while other areas have better public schools and better situations. So it's just a mess, man. It's always been like that in the city of Oakland.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately now you don't have any sports to tie into it or tie into the history and the culture of the city of Oakland. Now it's just San Francisco's little brother or sister or something. It's stupid.
That's all it is there. And we got Papa J joining us. Hit the like button. Thank you, Papa J, for throwing that out there. We greatly appreciate you. Don't worry about being late, man. We're late. We're a day late, but that's because I wanted to go chase a yellow ball in 110-degree weather for the day here.
Exactly.
He agrees with David. The Seahawks are being pretenders. Yeah, they just played themselves out of this game here. They just allowed a big play to the Lions. It's now 35-20. For all my Niner fans, I'll say the Sea Chickens here. I'll say that for you.
Yeah.
David Becerra comes back. It's frustrating when you hear that Joe Lacob tried to buy the A's, but Fisher wouldn't allow it. But that's because that's how greedy Fisher is here. Joe Lacob saved the war. Joe Lacob made the Warriors who they are. Without Joe Lacob buying that team,
Yeah.
Warrior fans aren't celebrating 4 championships. That's clear as daylight to say, because Joe Lacob wasn't afraid to spend the money to build a team, and he probably would have done the same for the A's here. But he also built an ownership around him to help with that, and that's what you would have gotten from Joe Lacob here. So yeah, it hurts that they were trying to find resolutions, and Fisher said, no, I'm hell-bent on taking this team to Vegas. That's where we're going here. So that just shows you the owner that the A's have been dealing with, to say.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Fun fact for everybody, if you don't have Oakland A's gear, go get it now, because that ain't going to exist no more. So you better go get your gear and hold on to that.
That's true. Very true.
Because that's going to be a timepiece that will no longer be available.
You hit that right on the head, man. But yeah, man, sad day, very sad day, and it just to add insult to injury here. Also, today, Dikembe Mutombo passed away at the age of 58. He apparently was dealing with brain cancer, and so unfortunately he passed away today, which was sad. We all know the finger wag. That
honor Mutombo with a finger wag.
That's
no,
right.
No.
That one commercial where he was batting everybody's paper ball, trying to throw in the trash can.
Is that like a State Farm commercial?
I think it was.
Trying to do all that?
Or was it Geico? I don't remember. But yeah, so sad day. Take some time to remember him. Watch some of his highlights. He only had one job or two jobs: rebound, block shots. He was an old school center, a guy from Africa, so he was an international player. Had some good years with the Atlanta Hawks. Was most notably known for joining the 76ers. Played with Allen Iverson during that championship run. Not championship run, but finals run that they had. So yeah, great player, Hall of Famer. Um, and I think we also had, was it Pete Rose that passed away today as well?
Pete Rose passed away. Didn't get a chance to get into the MLB because he betted on games, and yet here we are with all these apps in the world to place bets on a football, baseball, basketball game, and they don't want to allow him into the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose is the only guy who hurt somebody during an All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like, the man was named Charlie Hustle for a reason.
Right.
He ran Fosse. I think it was Fosse. I think it was the old A's announcer.
His hair was
ran
on
him
fire.
over in an All-Star game.
Like his hair was on fire.
It's an All-Star game. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? There's a mutual respect for everybody. Not for Pete Rose, man. That man was a winner. He played the game hard. He played the game right. It's a shame that you're going to allow this man's legacy to be tainted because he did something that people are doing now and probably still doing.
Ohtani.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani, Mr. I'm going to send my interpreter to jail so I can have the best season of my life. Speaking of that fool, let me tell you this here. He hit his 50th home run ball in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Some teenager had the damn ball, had some grown-ass man rip it from his hands.
Are you serious?
Yeah. This ball is now on auction for $1.5 million right now. And the judge, they took it to court as far as who was the owner of the ball, and they gave it to the guy, not to the kid. If you watch the video, the kid's got a grasp on the ball.
Did he? Where are the adults? I mean, I'm so tired of our weirdo. We got this weirdo individualistic culture where everybody's just out to do anything and everything for themselves. I gotta get rich. I gotta get famous, and it's just a kid. That's a child's memory. That's the type of thing that makes a lifelong baseball fan, or maybe even a baseball player. You never know. And to just have it ripped from you by some grown man, that's just pathetic. Let's try to be better. And the other thing is, where's this kid's parents at? Where was his dad to come over with the right hook and get the ball back? Because that's just pathetic.
So the company that has it right now is Golden Auction here. Now they are.
I know who they are.
The industry. They paid the man a lump sum to get the ball, and then whatever the ball auctions for, they will take a percentage for their fees, and then pay him out. So this dude is going to be making a ton of money off of this ball here. It is just disgusting what he went to do. I'm not saying that kid was probably going to end up selling the ball. You know what I'm saying? You know how dumb the Dodgers look? Ohtani was going to give just a signed bat and a picture for a ball that's going to be worth $1 million.
Yeah.
So you show how classless the Dodgers are on how much this ball really means here. We're just going to give you a signed bat. Honestly, I'd have taken the ball and said, you know what? You guys don't deserve this. This is going to somebody who I'm going to make money off of. I said it. I'd make money off that ball. Yeah. But I wouldn't take it from a kid. I'm earning that. If the kid's got the ball, he's got the ball. You know what I'm saying? For you to sit there and take it from him was embarrassing as an adult. You should be ashamed of yourself.
It is embarrassing because, people everybody's treating it like a Brinks truck fell over on the freeway. Everybody's out there running in the middle of the freeway to go grab money. It's just a bad look. And I understand it's the difference between being a millionaire and not. Maybe you get $1 million and I'm going to punch 15 people in the face to get $1 million. You got to do what you got to do. But again, it's just a bad look. At the end of the day, it is a kid's game, and a kid caught the ball. So it's like let him live. You know what I mean? And I hope he at least kicks him back like $10,000 or something. Like
you better pay for his damn college because you're walking away with a lot of money, so you might as well just help with at least a couple semesters of college at least.
What? Oh man.
I just witnessed the first onside kick under the new kickoff rules, and that was a disaster.
Oh, I missed it. I didn't see it.
No, nobody knew what to do with the damn ball. Anyways, before we get going, Papa J had no idea Pete Rose passed away. He does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Mama Birdie says, absolutely, may he rest in peace with all those gambling winnings. And then Papa J, hey, kid's going to learn money is money.
Yeah, got to learn a ball. A ball is money.
A ball, yep. In this age, unfortunately, that's how money is made, is by upselling it the way you do it there. So
That's right.
I thought I'd throw that in there because I've completely forgot that even took place, and I was really ashamed of all of that there. I don't know if you've heard, but Golden also has a bounty out for the Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James autograph card, 1 of 1 by Topps from the Olympic team. He
Oh,
has he has $150,000 bounty out. If you pull the card, you'll get featured on his show on Netflix, and then whatever the car sells on auction, you will receive as well. So
so you get
these guys got money.
150 plus the earnings, and you get to be on TV. So how much?
Yep.
Where do you're the card guy? How do you even get
Yeah.
access to it? Is there a certain type of box, or how do you even? What are you looking for?
So right now, Topps is doing these special releases here where you can buy a limited edition card. So they sold these Olympic packs. Now you bought them,
Mm-hmm.
and then this one card was put into that pack. So it was distributed worldwide,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
basically like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
You get that golden ticket. They're doing the exact same thing for Shohei Otani's logo man patch off of his jersey.
All
That will
right.
be a 101 from the 50th home run game. They are putting pre-sales in for the cards here to buy, and then they'll ship them, and then you got to hope that you are the lucky winner.
How much do they cost? How much does a pack cost?
Oh, I'm not sure here. They're probably not going for much because they're gonna make it difficult to try to get it. So that's their way of making people overly spend that much money,
Yeah.
just to get this 101 card that you may not get.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, it's out there, folks. Do your best. You know what I mean? I don't think
Hey, and then if any of our followers hit that card because you heard it from us,
5%. 5%.
5%. You're donating to the show for better production.
That's right. 5% kickback, finder's fee. Oh man.
Yep.
I think that's all we got for tonight. We appreciate y'all joining us on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting in the chat too, Mama Lay, David, Papa J, JJ. We're not gonna get too much into the NBA, but we will this coming weekend because preseason will begin. First preseason game will involve. I think the Lakers are playing Minnesota. We'll also get a chance to talk about Big Cat, which we didn't get a chance to do this time with Big Cat going to the Knicks and Julius Randle going to the Timberwolves. And really just talk about our old crusty ass teams and see if they'll be any better than they were last year. Because they have the same exact rosters except for the Warriors, of course, losing Klay Thompson. So it's going to be an interesting discussion. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing some basketball. Absolutely. And with basketball and the basketball and NFL happening at the same time, we're going to be a busy bunch. So do not miss us. Do not miss our show. There'll be a lot to discuss.
Hey, and for me personally, baseball playoffs are here. One of my favorites of the playoff season here. So I'm looking forward to extra long baseball games. Can't be mad about that.
All right. Pause. All right. And then
Friday night, pick 'em dummies.
That's
week
right.
5.
Be ready. Be there. And then we'll be back next Sunday. That's right. I said Sunday at 6:30 Pacific time. We appreciate y'all's time. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Hit the notification button. We appreciate it. We out.
Later.